And then the last thing I need to do here is just read through the hearing script, covers the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump right into it. So this is the September 7th, 2022 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the City of Cincinnati, and I'll be presiding over this hearing. The cases before us today, they are case numbers ZH20220129 and ZH20220132. Now, these are two separate applications, but they have the same applicant and they're asking for the same relief. So I put them on at the same time. I think it would make sense to talk about these separately since they are separate parcels. But I also thought it would save us time to do these scheduled at the same hour. So the two addresses are 2684 Grandin Road and 2686 Grandin Road. Okay, the purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing, unless a party has submitted evidence or testimony in the form of writing prior to this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. Anyone here from the public will then have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument that's been offered in opposition. And finally, the applicant will have a chance to make any closing remarks. So for our purposes here today, I will give our applicant, the swimming pool contractor, and the builder when he joins us an opportunity to tell me about this project or these projects, why the relief is appropriate, any background that you think is important for me to know before I make a decision. I'll then go to our two neighbors that we have here. I'll give them an opportunity to tell me anything about the project, support, opposition, or anything else. I'll then go back and give you all an opportunity as the applicant to respond to anything that was said or any questions that were asked, and then make any closing remarks. I'll have questions along the way, then we'll close it out. So after all presentations have been made, I'll close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of this application. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony. That's generally testimony you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who's not present at this hearing. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do here, and again, I'll ask again, Ms. Buchel, is that right, Buchel?
Yeah.
Are you prepared to go forward now, or did you want to give Mr. Ollinger more time?
I'm prepared now, but I did want to say I have another person in the office with me. His name is David Cookbook, and he's with me as well. And so we're going to be together on this.
Okay, so you'll both be providing testimony?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so sir, if you could give me your full name and spell your last name.
David Cookenbook, Kuchenbuch.
Okay. Welcome. Okay, so I need to swear in all of our witnesses now. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, asking any questions, making any comments, doing anything other than just strictly observing, you need to be sworn in. So if that's you, if you could take yourself off mute, I need everyone to answer out loud, and I need everyone to raise their right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
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 Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. All right. I will turn the floor over to the applicants. Again, I think it would make the most sense to talk about each one of these individually. Like I said, I know that the relief is similar. I know that they're adjacent lots, but if you could talk about each application separately or on its own, or sort of one at a time, I think that would be useful to keep the record clear. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, really, the rest I'll leave up to you. I'm liberal on how you want to orient these presentations. One of you can talk, both of you can talk. It's really completely up to you. So I'll let you choose which one you'd like to discuss first, but let's just do one at a time. The floor is yours.
All right. Let's start with 2684 Grandin Road. And so basically this applicant or this homeowner is looking for a swimming pool because the city has to have records of the house. It's on a private lane. And so the city has to have ability for this house, which is on Lower Grandin Road. Therefore, this property has 2 front yards, in which states that they're not allowed to have a swimming pool. Yet this property's front yard technically is on Grandin Road, which has their driveway, their garage, everything is coming off of that area. The backyard is technically the second front yard is with Lower Grandin. It's more than a 50-foot drop, which is not available to have a driveway. And there will be retaining walls. There's going to be shrubbery. It's already a very secluded area with trees. Prior to this house being built, it was wooded area. Therefore, they are wanting a small swimming pool in the backyard, which is technically the front yard off of Lower Grandin. And so that's basically what I have there.
Okay. Anything else from the gentleman with you?
No, it's the house is already oriented with the original building permit, with the front door facing south towards the river, towards Lower Grandin. So that's, in reality, that's the only place this pool can go. It's not being built in fill. It's all in a cut situation. So the hillside district is not going to be an issue with the pool.
Gotcha. Okay. And let's see. So is Lower Grandin to the north or to the south of this property? I'm just trying to get oriented on the map here.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the same here as well.
It's behind the house.
Actually, Lower Grandin is to the north of it. Grandin Place is to the south, or Grandin Road.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I had it backwards.
Okay. And gotcha. And so in terms of the orientation of the pool and the house to Grandin Road, this pool will actually be, I'm sorry, the house will be in between the pool and Grandin Road.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And then
Grandin Place. It's not
Well,
Grandin
yeah.
Road.
You kind of just change his name right there. They have it listed as Grandin Road on their documents. So yes, it'll be between Grandin Place and the house will be between Grandin Place and the pool.
Gotcha. Okay.
So do you have a drawing? Like, where is this pool physically? I'm not, this is going back and forth where you guys are explaining it backwards.
So,
is the pool physically in the back facing Lower Grandin where the retaining wall is?
so
Yes.
Ms. Marker, I think that's a helpful and a useful question, but just to it's a little bit out of order in terms of the proper procedure. So you will have an opportunity to ask all these questions and to provide any commentary, but for now, let's just allow me to sort of try to work through this with them really quickly. Do you guys have any pictures on your computer or site plans that you can share? I can go in and do that myself.
Yeah, I submitted everything on there and everything is on the documents that were provided.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just meant, like, do you have any that you could share your screen so that we could all be looking at the same document as we talk about where exactly this pool is going to be located? I'm working on pulling them up right now. It's just, if you share your screen, you can have the browser and it's a little bit easier to talk through.
Okay.
We're getting that document.
Okay. Yeah, let's share.
Okay.
Now you can see your mouse.
Okay.
There we go.
And then this is Lower Grandin down here, and then the pool is right here with the retaining walls. And then the house, and that's Grandin Road Place. Whatever you-
Grand Place, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is,
And is there an access drive to get from the home to Grandin Place?
yes, right here.
And that goes along the side of the other lot, is that right?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
That goes along the side of the other lot, the 2686?
Correct, exactly. And this is their driveway, as well as their front door.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think you mentioned this before, but will this pool be visible from any adjacent properties?
No,
Do you know?
There's where the pool is going to be located on the property. There is existing woods to the west of the property. So it will be directly behind the house, not to exceed the outside corner of the house as it sits now.
Gotcha. Okay, so will it be visible from any adjacent properties? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, it will be visible. They plan on doing landscaping to block and do privacy along the property lines as needed.
Gotcha. So which properties will this be visible from?
wouldn't it just be March's? On which we did the pool?
Which one's that?
Do you know when March is at? 2020 or something, Lower Grandin?
I'm trying to find the address here. That's marker.
So
2920.
From the 2680 property itself, which is the marker residence, the house, the physical house will block the view from the marker residence to the pool, to the proposed pool.
right. So so what properties are you saying that 2686 will be able to see this pool?
No,
So which
no,
properties?
the house is going to block the view from their viewing to the pool unless they go up into their top east corner of the property.
Sorry, guys, I'm not I'm not trying to belabor this point.
Yeah,
I have a couple questions. One is, are there adjacent properties to this address, to this house, that are going to have a view or be able to see or be impacted in any way by the installation of this pool? If the answer to that question is yes, what are those properties?
I have pictures, I really don't think that there is any. It's all wooded.
Yeah, it's all the lots around it are wooded.
Yeah,
So the answer would be no.
yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
On the houses themselves, all the lots around them are wooded.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, that's what it looked like to me on the map, but this area is tricky. So, okay. Is there any excavation or fill that's going to be needed in order to complete this pool?
The space is already excavated per the building of the house and the retaining wall. And there is no fill that will be needed for the placement of the pool.
Okay, how large was the excavation?
Pool is a 12 by 25.
Are you asking how large the excavation was for the existing retaining wall?
Yeah, well, how much, yeah, how large was the excavation in order to, I assume, make the hole where the pool is going to be located? So this is a hillside district, and so there are rules. I assume that it's not deeper than 8 feet, or maybe it was previously approved.
I can't answer that question, and I know exactly what you're talking about. We dealt with this down the street, not being able to go over existing depth. The depth that we are dealing with for the pool excavation in the space that has previously been graded for the construction of the house, our physical dig depth is going to be 6'6" maximum.
Gotcha. Okay, so there was already some excavation and grading work that's been done as a part of the construction of the home. And you're saying that there is no additional excavation that is necessary in order to put this pool in?
Exactly. The only excavation that would be for the physical pool itself.
Okay. And what impact, if any, will the installation of this pool into the existing excavation and grading have on the stability of the hillside?
None.
Okay. What about, will it impact at all the drainage or flow of water down that hill?
No.
Permeable.
Is there a patio or non-porous patio going to be built around this pool? If so, how large will it be?
I'm not sure. We do not do the concrete patio around it. That is by the builder or the landscaper.
Okay. What is the total dimensions of the pool?
12 feet by 25 rectangle.
Got it.
12 by 25.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have right now. I may have some more later. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me about this project before I give the neighbors an opportunity to add some testimony?
Well, I would like to say as well that they had to have a variance for the house as well. And so they had to go through the similar procedures. And so now we're just having to go through this procedure for the pool, but yes, that's all I wanted to say.
Got it. Yeah. And I intend on, I wish I would have done this a little bit more before the hearing today. I remember doing this. I believe that I was the zoning hearing examiner that did the initial home as well. So I can go back and look at that project and what exactly those approvals were before I finalize this decision. But yeah, I was just curious if there was any additional excavation happening and to what extent. I assume based on the staff report here that there isn't any excavation that's going to happen that's greater than 8 feet. Otherwise, there would need to be approval for that. So I am just looking at this just for the record, strictly to determine whether or not it's appropriate to locate the pool in the location that it's in, because it is technically a front yard. So with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Garaciotti.
Thank you.
Mr. Garaciotti, the floor is yours.
Yes. Okay. Can you see me? Okay. Well, this is have several things to say. Thank you for letting me speak. I believe you were the person who did a wonderful job overseeing my request to have a garage put on 2930 Lower Grandin, and it was approved only in such a minuscule footprint that we decided not to go through with it, even though it was a small structure. By comparison, these massive structures have gone uphill across the street from my property, and a variance was granted only because once we got an attorney to look at the hillside overlay district's criteria, the case was made, well, the owners of the property had already subdivided it, even though they inherited the property and had already sold these lots for a lot of money. So they'd sunk a lot of money in. It would be such a great hardship. So we withdrew our objections. I will say that we can see from our front yard this proposed pool. We see the penitentiary-like structure directly across from us. We've had a wall collapse next door. I have photos of all this I can show you. A driveway collapse next door. Our backyard has buckled, and we have massive changes in the drainage pathways. I could also share the screen and show you some of that right now. I think
You're welcome.
do you want me to do that?
It's completely up to you.
Okay. Now, if you can, let's see, one at a time. Let's share with this. I don't know. Can you see this?
Again, yes.
And so, yeah, it's already.
Okay. No, is this the drainage issue or the collapse?
Are you asking me?
Yes. If you see my screen, do you see water or not? Because I'm, for some reason,
I
not
see
seeing
water, and it looks like a teal house.
Okay. Yeah, that's out my side window. So now if I want to share another photo, I'm not sure how that would work. Probably I could do this, and you could get a sense of the, it's probably not that great, but you might be able to see the buckling of the driveway.
Can you tell me what exactly I'm looking at?
You're looking at a driveway of our next door neighbors, and the wall is facing the street. One can see a little street light there to the left middle in the photo, showing how close this is to the street.
So that's Lower Grandin then?
Yes, that's Lower Grandin.
Gotcha.
So my concern is with all this massive work going on uphill, that this goes against the hillside overlay district's criteria, which were developed to protect the natural features of our hillside. When this original property was developed before subdivision, this was in effect. As I noted, before we knew what was going on, these lots were subdivided and sold for a lot of money. The original owners then took this money, built a monstrosity directly across from us, and they're right next door, also abutting our property in terms, if the Lower Grandin were to be removed, is the pool in question. It makes no sense to me. The fairness makes no sense, since variance should only be granted unless there's special circumstances that are necessary to enhance. All these things, but I'm looking at the criteria right here. You know them much better than I do, but if it's necessary for the preservation or enjoyment of the property, that's not true. It doesn't enhance the neighborhood in any way. In fact, it hurts the neighborhood. I have another photo I could send you of the massive herbicides that have been placed across the street. I could also send you the articles just from 2022 in which these chemical constituents are not regarded as safe for humans. There's emerging evidence, and due to the water runoff pathways, these chemicals just run straight into my property, into my next door neighbor's property. I have a 1.5-year-old granddaughter who plays. I don't even want her crawling around anymore. So to have this whole idea that it's wooded shows that the proposed constructors do not understand what they're doing. The idea that, oh, I got it backwards, the front door, I meant the back door, shows that they're not intimately familiar with these properties. The devastation of the hillside that occurred across the street is just shocking. I have films of that. And there has not been digging in the area where this pool would go. So I think I'll leave it right there, but to say that this would not be seen because it's all wooded, it's just shows an utter just lack of understanding of the situation here. So again, I'm just arguing for those of us who are downhill, not good.
So, okay.
And we've been very understanding. We've said, okay, I believe in, if they own this property, they want to subdivide it, sell it, have these massive houses built. Okay, we're not going to get a lawyer and, create havoc. But I mean, enough is enough. Our yard has buckled. The next door neighbors has buckled. There, she died. That's why she's not here. She actually died, so nobody lives in that property right now.
Okay.
The back of our yard is falling, is eroding into the creek bed right behind us. You could come out and take a look at that. Just it's a delicate, wonderful structure here that's really been plundered.
Gotcha. Okay. So just a couple questions. You referred to some development up the hill from Lower Grandin. Are you referring to these properties in particular?
Yes.
Or all of the development that's happening?
No, just these properties.
Just these two properties?
Yes, there aren't any properties on the upper on the hillside. There is another one that's been cut that's down the street a bit, but it doesn't have the same slope. There's been no digging into the ground. There have been no massive piers that change the paintings on our walls. I mean, it's just shocking what's been done here.
And you're saying that you and your neighbors will be able to, there will be some visual impact on your properties as a result of the installation of this pool in the location that they're proposing?
Yes, walking out the front door and the driveway, and also my next door neighbor, the one whose wall has fallen and whose driveway is buckled. Our properties are directly across the street from this. There's no.
It was my understanding from the applicant's testimony that the properties in question here were located significantly up this hill, sort of towards the top of this hill, and I do have to do site inspections, and so I will buy these properties. But I'm just wondering if your home is downhill from these, how exactly will there be a visual impact? You're saying you look up the hill and you'll be able to see the pool at the top of the hill?
Yeah, yes, we won't be able to look down into the water, but we could certainly, we're shocked. We could see the house looming over us already. So if this pool is going to be between the house and Lower Grandin, that's, you know, that's an issue. I only bring up the visual because I think it's ridiculous just to dismiss it out of hand. My concern is the drainage abnormality and the structural instabilities to the hillside. You know, if somebody wants to put a, you know, if I could see a pool, I mean, that's not the end of the world. It is, of course, unfortunate that we had this pristine neighborhood plundered, but oh well, that happens.
Yep. And again, just to make sure I completely understand your concerns, you believe that locating this pool in this location will also have an impact on the hillside stability.
Yeah, so my point is that it's already been overdeveloped. If we had known about this development well in advance before the purchase, we would have put in some objections. Now that it's been done, there's been a lot of damage, and then to add another, you know, to add a pool is just insult to injury. I don't think it's necessary for the people living there. There are a lot of country clubs and pools around here. You can join one of those. I mean, and then also they for whatever reason, there was somebody, the head of the city the fellow in charge of linking water to a given house was out here a week or two ago looking for these spots to put water into a pool and to have it run uphill. And I asked, why would it come off of Lower Grandin? He said he doesn't know. There must be some reason, but it would make more sense to have it off of Grandin Place. So more digging in the street. I mean, that shouldn't be that big of a deal. I only mentioned this, you know, in passing, but there's been a lot of, I have 20 photos. It's been a lot of problems. And, you know, to take this all the way through to a pool, you know, it takes a lot of, you know, self-centeredness, because we're going to be, you know, we may move. There's going to be, these people aren't going to be here forever. They're going to die. And what about the subsequent, you know, generations?
Okay. Anything else, Doctor, you'd like to share before I move on to Ms. Marker?
No, but thank you for letting me speak. I do have one more question. If I do have supplemental material in the form of videos or photographs, would there be any interest in that, or is that?
So I, unfortunately, after this hearing is concluded, I can't take in any more new evidence. So unless there's a video or something you'd like to introduce or show right now, I am not permitted under the rules to consider any of those things.
Okay.
So again, if you have something, whether it's a video, picture, or anything that you think will help better demonstrate why your concerns are valid and why I should deny this application, please show them now. Otherwise, I won't consider them.
Okay. Well, I've showed you the wall. This was a. Can you see my cursor across this here?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This was a wall. It fell. When it first fell, I took a photo of all the bricks, but now it's become overgrown because this work has taken 2 years. So maybe I will just show one more thing. I sent all these 2 files to myself, so they're not the easiest to get to, and I'm so sorry for those who on this call who are waiting, and I should have had all this ready. But it looks like I can show a video. Let's just say, Okay, it says click to download, and I'm trying to download this. Sure.
One
I think
thing,
now it's downloaded. It's only a minute, I think. 9 seconds left, 4 seconds left, 2 seconds left. Okay. So if this was early on when things were getting started here. So can you see this video now?
no, you'll need to reshare your screen.
Okay. What about now?
Yes, I can see a photo.
Okay, let's take a look here. This is 2 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm just driving.
Widespread.
Sorry about this. I sound like it's some sort of,
Hillside.
just look at the devastation of the hillside here. I mean, this is used to be,
Trees felled. Above this house.
so the property in question is right on the other side of this house.
See the water runoff.
Oh, and by the way,
Probably a lot of
So can you pause the video for a minute?
visible here.
Can you pause the video?
yes. So I'm sorry, I forgot. I can't park my car where there's now new permanent puddling in front
So
of the house that didn't exist before.
The structures that are sort of at the top of the screen here, out your passenger window there, are those the houses in question here for the property?
That's next door to the house in question. I'm about ready. So you're getting the next door. I'm about ready to drive
Okay,
to the house in question.
okay, go ahead.
So this is the next door. This was all pristine, a beautiful thing, but that happens. So that's so this is still next door.
Space. Most unfortunate.
I'm going to pause here just to, you can see the level of the piers that had to go in. Just unbelievable deep piers that just shook us to the core, each of these into bedrock.
Most unfortunate. And here.
Okay, so here is here's where the pool is going to go. I can't, this is not, I don't know.
To run off, unfortunately.
You see green on one side. That's what.
Then another huge structure being built with devastation of the hillside and water runoff.
Okay. Well, I won't subject you to the last of 30 seconds of this, but get a sense of what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I want to thank you for your time, your testimony,
Thank you for letting me speak.
and for showing these videos. No, it is extremely helpful for me to hear from neighbors and property owners that live it every day. Obviously my analysis of Google Maps and drive-bys is not going to offer the same perspective. So I really do thank you for being here and consider your testimony very, very valuable. And I know that there's been a lot of frustration with runoffs over there, just in the short 3 years that I've been doing this. And so sorry that you're going through that right now.
Well, thanks I appreciate it.
Sure. Ms. Marker, I'd like to give you an opportunity to weigh in on this.
Hi.
So you're not Lower Grandin, right? You're on Grandin.
Yeah, we're 2680 Grandin Place, so we share the same drive with them. And I do want to clarify too that the wooded area is mainly our property to the left. That's not necessarily woods, it's honeysuckle and ivy that will get cleared. But then to the right is the hillside trust. And yes, you can see the pool from Lower Grandin. However, from our perspective, and we have a deck, I don't have any problem with them putting a pool in the physical back location of their house. This is why I got on here. I just wanted to see where the pool is going. And it's not to us in the front of the house, it's in the back. So I don't have any problem with that. As long as everything's engineered or whatnot, and they have a fence, I'm fine with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Parker. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. I'll now go back to the applicants. Give you an opportunity to respond to anything you've heard.
Just by looking at the cages TOFO, this pool area will sit roughly 60 feet above the elevation of his house. The pool is not an above ground pool, so it's going to be inside the ground. I'm not sure how he will be able to see the pool itself. He's going to see the existing retaining walls that have been built prior to any construction of the pool. And I'm not sure what the relevancy of the wood retaining wall of the neighboring house, the marsh property, has to do with this piece of property that we're dealing with the metal piers, the I-beam piers and such forth, or any of the retaining wall issues behind the two houses that he was referring to. Those retaining walls, the project that we're working on and the age of those, our project has nothing to do with the failure of those retaining walls or the buckling of that concrete driveway. So I don't know what the relevancy of that is to this project and to the pool installation itself.
Gotcha. And yeah, I mean, I did want to sort of just dig down on that just a little bit. I mean, that you're telling me that, you know, the retaining walls and the piers have been drilled, the houses are built, and even the hole may even be partially dug for this pool already.
The hole for the pool has not been dug. That's just a level application. But those piers for the retaining wall that he was showing you on that video is for a neighboring house. That's not for this house.
Gotcha. So
Haven't been dug. Oh, excuse me.
so if the hole hasn't been dug, can you tell me again how much excavation we're talking about there?
6.5 feet
Gotcha. 6.5 feet. Okay.
within that leveled out area that's there.
And you don't believe that that excavation is going to impact the hillside stability or water runoff in any way?
Correct. The actual weight of the pool itself with water in it is less than the weight of the soil, clay soil, that we are removing from the space.
Okay. I wanted to ask a couple of questions because I'm not sure we talked as in detail about the 2686 and the location of that pool in relation to the house. I have here, I'll just share my screen because I've got it pulled up here. Hopefully y'all can see that. So this is for the 26th, the southern lot. So is this north-south orientation, this picture you submitted in your in your materials?
Distance application.
It's,
Oh,
it's going to be a little northeast. So north is more the upper left corner of the property.
So
No,
is Grandin Place here?
no. Yes, that's Grandin Place. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Maybe I'll ask Miss Marker since she lives over there. Miss Marker, do you mind jumping on?
Yeah,
You
so
help-
Grandin Place is,
Down
where your
here?
cursor is, yes. And
Okay.
this is the painter's, right, yeah, that's our driveway, yes, our
Is
shared
this the shared
driveway.
drive? Okay.
Yeah, for the 3 homes, and then this is the painter residence, and then I'm assuming that's where their proposed pool will go, which it will be in between the painter house and the Weissman house, which is what we just saw, but they're both physically in the back of the house.
Got it.
yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. And is this a situation where this is also a double front yard?
Correct, yes, because they're both on that Grandin Place. And so, yeah, the city has to have access to both.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have any more questions. I think I understand the scope of the project and the request. Anything else you'd like to provide in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here? Looks like Dr. Garachodi is trying to jump back in.
Yes, I would like to point out that the Ms. Marker isn't bothered by the pool, and that's okay. It's her right. She is not downhill from the pool. Furthermore, she purchased one of these lots from the Marches, who inherited all the property and then subdivided it. So I'm not sure if that's a conflict of interest or not. Probably it isn't, but she did purchase the property in March of this year.
Gotcha.
And our perspective is from the people downhill is the concern.
Sure. I mean, let me try to just push back a little. I mean, Mr. Garachodi, I'm struggling a little bit to understand why this development that is nearly complete, how the addition of this pool, if there's minimal excavation happening, how that is going to negatively impact you. I mean, I understand that you're making the argument that this development and all development over there has negatively impact, particularly the hillside stability and water runoff. But I'm understanding now that we're at this point, I'm having trouble understanding why putting the pool in and finishing the project is actually going to contribute to that instability.
Yeah, well, those are good questions. I think I have only 2 responses. One, this business about, we're at this point now, so just go ahead, is something that was used for the project as a whole. And we were told that it wouldn't cause any problems. And it caused a lot of huge problems. So my concern is that there is excavation to come, and I'm skeptical and cynical, and I actually don't believe the whole idea that there's minimal work to be done. Now, if you come and take a look at the property, and it seems like everything is in order, all the ill effects have occurred. There's really no reason to object to this pool based on hillside concerns, then I would withdraw my objection to it. But at this point, I do not believe that in the least. Every little thing that's happened, and every big thing that's happened has been prefaced by the idea of it's not going to have any adverse effects.
Okay. I'll give the applicants, if they'd like, one more opportunity to respond to anything that's been asked or said, and or any other closing remarks before we adjourn? Okay. So again, thank you all for being here and your time and your testimony. I've been I've been over and through this neighborhood with different projects. I think it would be good for me to actually lay my eyes on the current state of development over there and just get a better look at the properties and drive around Lower Grandin as well before I make a decision on this. So I'm going to do that within the next couple of weeks, and I will produce a decision, either approving with conditions or approving or denying this project. Again, I think that'll take about 2 weeks. I will put that all in a written decision, which will serve as the formal document, either approving or denying this. As soon as I finish that decision, I put it into a PDF and I email it to everybody who's in this hearing here today. So you all will have it just moments after it's complete. Whether it's approved or denied, there is an ability to appeal my decision within 30 days of the decision being issued. And so within 30 days of the decision showing up in your mailbox, you will have an opportunity to appeal to our zoning board of appeals if you would like. Any questions about anything with the process at this point before we close out? Okay, well, if you do have questions in the meantime, you can email me directly at the email address that's on the screen. If you'd like a status update on where I'm at with the decision, you can reach out to me again directly via email, and I'm happy to answer that question or any others. Like I mentioned before, I can't take any new testimony or any new evidence. So please don't send me pictures or additional plans or anything like that. Whatever's in the application materials and whatever's been said or testified to here is the complete record that I'll be making the decision off of. Okay. Any other questions right now? All right. Thank you all again. Have a wonderful day. We are adjourned.